Hello, welcome back to the Reading Mama. My name is Heather, and today I'm going to share some of my favorite books from November. Now, I actually read like 21 books in November, primarily audiobooks. I don't really know how, but I'm only going to go through some of them because that would be insane. And I don't have the books here with me because I got a sleeping baby here, and I just don't have enough hands. So I will try to pop a picture up of them. So first up, I finished the Children of the Consortium series, which I absolutely love. So the Children in the Consortium series starts with The Recorder, and then I finished Aberration and Guardian last month, and they were just phenomenal. I really love the story. It's Christian sci-fi, very light on the Christian. I tend to stay away from a lot of Christian books because they're so heavy. They tend to be trite and saccharine, and then they are so heavy on their Christian principles that they miss kind of like plot and character development and things like that. And Children Consortium is not that way. I really love the subtle hints towards the value of life is really kind of the primary focus that I took away from that series. But in this sci-fi story, you follow a young woman who is the recorder in the very first one, and basically she's supposed to be completely separate from all the world so that she can have an unbiased review and take notes of what's going on in the world, right? And as you follow her life through a lot of different trials that happen. So then in Aberration, it's the continuing story. I really don't want to give a lot away because it will be spoilers for book one. But over and over and over, you see through, biological warfare, through taking down certain systems and all different kinds of things, just the value of life and how important it is. And I love that aspect of it. It had me crying at the end. And then I finished also the Red Rising series, which again, like I said, I don't necessarily recommend, but it was phenomenal. However, it's got a lot of swearing and it is more gruesome and grotesque than I need a PG version where they like redact all that for me, because the storyline, the characters are so well written, and it is very moving, and it's very great sci-fi fantasy of a whole nother world that's very much based on caste and just putting others first again, kind of the downtrodden, and for various reasons. Anyways, I'm not going to go into it too much because Red Rising, like I said, I don't necessarily recommend unless you can somehow get a PG version of it. But Lightbringer was one that broke my heart because just there was a lot of devastation in that one, and it just, a lot of characters were redeemed, but then some just, so much vitriol towards, I've never hated a character more than I do Lysandra. Anyways, let's move on. And then I finished When My Name Was Kyoko, which was a reread/pre-read. It is a middle grade novel set in Korea during World War II, and you follow a young girl named Kyoko and her brother, I can't remember his name, and their life in Korea and what the Japanese were doing as they had control over Korea during World War II. It's a great middle grade read. I was rereading it and pre-reading it for one of my kids to read for school this year, and that was really great. Then I read a nonfiction, How to Raise a Wild Child. I don't like it. I finished it because I didn't want to DNF it. I had purchased the book. I had loved it. I hated it with a passion. I hated the narrator for the audio version. I hated a lot of what he had to say, was just repetitive and not as well done. I think if you're going to read something about getting kids in nature and things like that, Richard Louv is a much better option, because I forget what his name is, Samson. He just repeats a lot of what has already been said and in not as great a way. And he's the one who actually reads it. And I didn't enjoy his voice. How to Raise a Wild Child was it was no good for me. That said, there are so many other great books about getting your children in nature and the way that you should do it and how vital and important it is. I just felt like this book was just horrible. And I actually, not only did I did finish it, but I gave it away right away. Another great book that I really loved was One Life, which is the story of Nicholas Winton, and his help with the kinder transport out of Czechoslovakia. And I watched the movie, which was really good. If you haven't seen it, One Life, I think it's on Amazon, and it was really good, but the biography is written by his daughter, and I was a little hesitant to at first thinking, oh, it's written by his daughter, it's going to be very biased. And I feel like she did a really good job. She did a great job of kind of disassociating in certain spots and then also putting in her personal parts in it as well. And I just really, really loved the story of Nicholas, because it not only, it like the kinder transport and getting the children out of Czechoslovakia before the Nazis stopped all that. It's just a small portion of it. It tells a lot about his life and like what brought him to that point. And he has a unique story, as in he's not doing it for religious reasons. He's not doing it for some great big political statement. It's that he saw people suffering and in need of help and just went to do it. There's a couple of points of humor in it, and it was a beautiful biography. Another biography I read was A Light in the Darkness by Albert Marin. And this talks about Janusz Korczak, who also helped with children during World War II, but in Warsaw. And he was a Jewish man who did not claim the religion. He was brought up agnostic, so to speak. And he was a doctor, a pediatrician, and he was revered for many, many years. Had a program on their radio. He was helped with their government, helped create some of the laws that the UN even today still hold regarding children and how to care for them. He ran an orphanage in Warsaw for Jewish children, and then he moved it to the ghetto, and then he ended up going on the transport with them to Auschwitz and perishing with them. But the story, A Light in the Darkness, talks very much, Albert Marin does a great job of telling all about the main person, Janusz Korczak, but then also the things that are going on around World War II, about Adolf Hitler, why is he doing these things? Who are these other people? What other parts are involved that led to the Warsaw Ghetto and Janusz Korczak's orphanage and all of that? And that was great. And then I read Silver Chair, still trying to work my way up through the Narnia series as a reread this year. And yeah, when I first started it, my oldest and I, because my oldest is the only one who's read it, and read the series, and so she and I, when I picked up, like, I don't remember anything about this one. And as it started going, I started to remember, but yeah, there's a reason it's not my favorite. You follow Eustace and his friend Jill, who go back to Narnia, and Caspian, who was the king before Eustace was there, is now an old man, and Caspian's son is missing. Caspian's heartbroken about it, and they don't even meet Caspian in the story, so he's like a side character. And so Eustace and Jill, and then they pick up a Puddleglum, the marsh wiggle, and they go on an adventure basically to find his Caspian son. And yeah, it was not my favorite of the Narnia series, that's for sure. Yeah, I don't know, I didn't love it. It was very you can see where J.K. Rowling kind of took some from that, but otherwise I'm not gonna, yeah, that was that. A book I did not enjoy again was Anne of Ingleside. I'm still working on Chantel's A Year Mod challenge, and Anne of Ingleside, I think I actually did DNF it. I think I had one chapter left and I DNF'd. I didn't love it. You follow Anne and her family and her children, and there's just a lot. It kind of bounces back between the children's stories and Anne's story. I didn't love a lot of the stories. A lot of the stories were very, like, maybe I might read them aloud to my kids. They might enjoy that. But I didn't love them. I didn't find a lot of beauty in them. But then there's a few chapters that are just hilarious. But they're very much like short stories. Like, they're just kind of standalone stories. And then there was one chapter that was just, like, it was pure gossip. It was just like gossip of Ingleside. I don't care. And so, yeah, I just did not love that one. I'm going to try Rainbow Valley. We'll see as I continue with the Year Mod. But yeah, I did finish Mockingjay in the Hunger Games series. And of course, I love it. That's a reread, like my 4th or 5th time. I don't know. And I really loved it. I'm not going to say anything about it because if you don't know anything about Mockingjay, then I don't know how to help you. I am going to continue the series and hopefully read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Songbirds, whichever one it is. Next, might finish it before the end of the year. I started Sunrise on the Weeping and back when it came out, whatever. And then I've been slowly going through it, reading through the series again because of that, because Sunrise on the Reaping was amazing. And the first three, I think, are amazing. Ballad was not my favorite, but we'll see. We'll see how I get through that one. Then I read another nonfiction called The Enchanted Hour, and that one was phenomenal. Great read aloud, encouragement, lots of great statistics and anecdotes about how important it is to read and to read aloud to our children. Highly, highly recommend The Enchanted Hour. I would say it's like Read Aloud Revival by Sarah McKenzie or the Read Aloud Handbook by Jim Trelease. But this one I feel like those ones focus about specifics books, and they give a lot of like review and recommendations. I feel like The Enchanted Hour was just more empowering to you as a parent or a teacher to see the vital need of reading aloud to our children, not so that they do well on tests, not to, so just for the connection, for that coming together, and it was just really well. And then last I read Paralandra by C.S. Lewis, which is book 2 in the Space Trilogy. Did not love the first one. Reread it, liked it a little bit better. Read book 2. What in the world? It's weird. I'm not loving the Space Trilogy. I don't know. I know a lot of people say book 3 is the best. I don't know if I have it in me to finish the series. I don't love it. So it's a sci-fi story, and you follow this man named Ransom. The first book, he goes to Mars. The second book, he goes to Venus. He meets creatures there, and he learns different things. The first one was very much about colonialism and the thinking one's better than others and forcing that upon others, and how we perceive people who are different, or things, creatures, anything is different from us, as being better or less than. The second book focuses more on the morality of sin nature, and very much focuses on the creation story. I'm going to say it that way. It was weird. Not my favorite. But it is what it is. Then I did read, like I said, I'm not going to go through it. I did read the Shatter Me series. And I really loved it. Again, I need, like Red Rising, I need somebody to make me a PG version of it. But it was a great series. But again, it just needs some PG editing for me. And so, yeah, that was my November. It was a lot of books in a short amount of time, a lot of late nights with little one here. And so that's what's going on. Looking into December, I am really just trying to focus on my physical TBR and my Libby TBR, because my Libby books keep like piling up. And so that's part of what happened here, is they all came in at the same time and I listened to them all. So that's what's going on. And yeah, my nonfiction November, if I'm going to comment on that, was really kind of sad. 2 biographies, a book on reading aloud, and a book on nature. Not the best nonfiction November. I am partway through several books that would be possible for nonfiction November: Mere Christianity, For the Family's Sake, Overwhelmed Mom, a lot of Christian encouragement, but those I take a lot longer to read, because I would read a chapter and then I have to sit with it for a while. So that's what's going on. Thank you again for watching, and have a blessed day.